Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the beautiful Oklahoma State Capitol building. My name is Grace Nardes. I'm your Executive Director for the now Oklahoma Department of Aerospace and Aeronautics. Great day for Oklahoma, great day for aviation, aerospace, and defense. And obviously, thank you for each one of you willing to share a little of your day for this momentous occasion for our industry, for our agency, and for all the people that made this day possible. I want to recognize a few people. First, we have Colonel Tom Giles from Tinker Air Force Base. We have President Diane Lovell from SWASU right here, yep. Chief Scott Irwin. I have a couple of my bosses here, Commissioner Lindy Ritz, Commissioner Jim Putnam, Commissioner Seth Phillips. We have a lot of distinguished aviation aerospace individuals here today. And really what we're doing is just a date in the moment of history of a long lineage of our agency being the state's aviation and aerospace organization. Dating back to 1945, as you can see here on the placard that was on your seat, Governor Robert S. Kerr created the Oklahoma Aviation Commission. Shortly after that, Governor Roy Turner organized it and formally staffed it in 1947. 1963, we became the Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission. Obviously, with the advent of NASA and the space program, aeronautics was a very, very important terminology. And then today, here we are, the Oklahoma Department of Aerospace and Aeronautics. I want to give a special thank you and shout out to our bill authors, Senator Rosino and Representative Kyle Hilbert. They were instrumental in leading this charge, but I want to thank all of the members of our legislature, our governor who signed the bill, and all of our supporters throughout the way to get this across the hill and get this across the finish line to make us the Oklahoma Department of Aerospace and Aeronautics. Obviously, I sit here on the shoulders of those that have come before me, and certainly have to give a lot of shout out to those aviation aerospace professionals that have worked at the agency prior to me, that have served the commission prior to me, and just want to thank each and every one of them for giving me the opportunity to play my little role and play my little part in this organization, and hopefully have my little stamp on aviation aerospace in the long history. Obviously, we go back to the days of Wiley Post and Clyde Cessna, Pearl Carter Scott, Bessie Coleman, Geraldine Cobb, lots of different aviators out there, and who knows, I'm sure they had parades after Wiley Post flew around the world 8 days, 15 hours, 51 minutes. I'm certain that at some point in time, folks 50, 75, 100 years from now will look back on this day at the Capitol and go, man, that was a step, one great step in the right direction for our aviation and aerospace industry. So obviously we're here today to celebrate this name change and celebrate this reinvigorating of the Oklahoma Aviation and Aerospace Agency, the Oklahoma Department of Aerospace and Aeronautics. But really what we're here to do is to celebrate with our industry, celebrate with you all, which are enthusiasts of this industry, supporters of this industry. But I mean, let's face it, we're here for some cake and some punch, right? I mean, come on, yeah, right? And see this beautiful Capitol. I mean, not that I wouldn't have wanted to have this ceremony here 5 years ago, but this really is a truly beautiful ceremony. And I hope each and every one of you will come back for some of the other events that we will have here, whether it's Oklahoma Aero Day at the Capitol, some of the events that we do where we go around and we talk to our legislators about the industry. This is our state's second largest industry. You've heard me say that many times. But we want this to be our state's #1 industry. Hopefully with our friends at the Department of Commerce and the help that they can provide to grow this industry, we'll be right there to help them make sure that aviation, aerospace, and defense will be our #1 industry for many years to come. So, without that being said, I'd like to bring a certain senator, a good friend of mine, someone who I've gotten to know, has carried many pieces of legislation for the agency, Senator Paul Rosino, District Senate 45. Please come to the stage and share a few words about the industry.
And of course, I have to always put the microphone down after talking to Grayson Talks. To me, this is an incredible day. One of the first things that I wanted to do when I got elected, and I actually was talking about this when we so-called knock doors. One of the things that I said we had not done a good job of was promote our aviation industry. And so it has always been my goal and my passion to make this our #1 industry in the state. We have not passed oil and gas yet, and we love our oil and gas guys. But if you haven't heard me say this, I will say it again. By the time I leave the legislature, I want aviation and aerospace to be our #1 industry. It's the most important industry. We have the space. It diversifies our economy, and we're not basing it on a commodity, which our economy can struggle, and we've seen those ebbs and flows. I would also like to thank Senator Stanley. I think she was here. Thank you, Senator Stanley, for your support, especially out there at Tinker, so I appreciate that. And Representative Kyle Hilbert, who is the Speaker Pro Tem, thank you for being a partner with me on so many aviation and aerospace bills. It matters, so thank you for that. This idea came to me after several going to conferences and visiting with companies or seeing people, and one of the things that struck me was the standing we had as a commission. It just didn't sound right that we were just the Aeronautics Commission. And so I met with Director Arties, I met with Sandra Shelton, and I said, hey, I think it's time. We have evolved. It is our second largest industry. We have to change the name. We have to give us better standing in the country and in the world. And so that's how this happened. Then I called Representative Hilbert and said, hey, would you be on board? And instantly he said yes. And so the bill was not hard to pass. It was pretty simple. People have seen everything that aerospace and aviation is doing. As a matter of fact, one of my jokes is when I first got to the Capitol, nobody really cared about it a whole lot. And now it has just exploded, and everybody wants to get on this plane. Everybody wants to have some piece of aerospace and aviation, and that is a phenomenal thing. So with that, I really don't have any more to say except thank you all for being here. It was an honor to carry this. And Executive Director Arties, now you have an agency, you're not just a commission. So that's a great thing. So thank you all, appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Senator Rosino. You really have been a stalwart supporter of our agency and a stalwart supporter of aviation, aerospace, and defense since your time and obviously in your service to our nation's country. So thank you for that. Obviously, at the agency, it's hard. So if anybody has a Men in Black little zapper that can get out OAC or Aeronautics Commission out of my head, talk to me afterwards because I need that. Senator Rosino, we joked, we said we need to keep a jar, and I'll put $1 in every time I go back and say OAC or Aeronautics Commission, and then we can all retire because I say it often enough. But it is hard. It is hard getting used to the new name and the Oklahoma Department of Aerospace and Aeronautics, but at the end of the day, I think it will pay our state dividends. It shows that our state is very, very forward-leaning on aviation aerospace issues. I was just at an advanced air mobility collaboration with several state agencies from across our country, two of which were departments, and talking to them about our name change, talking to them about what they do. They are seen as leaders in aviation aerospace across the country. So with that being said, I'd like to bring up Speaker Pro Tem Kyle Hilbert, District 29 from the Bristow area. Speaker Hilbert has been a great champion of aviation aerospace. Even though he's not a pilot, not an aviator, he's become an adopted aviator. We might work on the pilot's license at some time, right? And so at the end of the day, I want to bring him to the stage to say thank you and share some messages about aviation aerospace.
Appreciate it, Director Arties. Great to be here today. And first off, happy Statehood Day. Today, 1907, President Theodore Roosevelt signed the act making Oklahoma a state. And so what a wonderful day of all days. I know you did that on purpose, Director Arties, that we could be here in our state capital celebrating Statehood Day and celebrating this wonderful name change and starting a new vision and continued path of excellence for the aviation aerospace industry in the state of Oklahoma. It's such an honor and easy. I certainly didn't know when Senator Rosino called me that I would have the opportunity to stand here on Statehood Day and talk, because he called me and said, hey Kyle, I've got a bill I want you to run, and I think I said yes before he even told me what the bill was, because I know Paul wouldn't lead me astray, and sure enough, he had a great bill, and appreciate Senator Rosino and his leadership and Director Arties of getting here today. But of course, this could not happen without a lot of support on both sides here in both chambers to make it happen, and really proud of my House colleagues that are here today. I really hope I caught everybody as they came in. Representative Tammy Townley, Representative Denise Crosswhite-Hayter, I saw there she is back in the back, Representative Preston Stinson, Representative Nicole Miller, who's also our Transportation Appropriations Chair, where all the funding flows through for the agency formerly known as the Aeronautics Commission. I almost had to put $1 in the jar, Grayson, for Aerospace and Aeronautics. Representative Danny Sterling, I saw him there he is, and Representative Marilyn Stark. Am I missing any other House members that walked in? Great. So great to have all of them here with us today, because this passed unanimously in the House. I mean, as the Senator said, I mean, it was really easy to tell members, hey, this is a great thing, this is where we're going, let's make it happen. But I want to be brief today, and I'll just say, why does this matter? And I would say it matters because, as Will Rogers once said, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And a name matters because the name that you see over there, aviation, aerospace, and aeronautics, that is what people will see when you're at conferences. No matter where it is, across the state, across the world, you see the Oklahoma Aeronautics and Aerospace and Aeronautics. I have to keep looking. I'm going to have to put so much money in this jar, Grayson. I'm going to get it though. But the name matters because it sends a message that we're for real. We mean this. And you look at the document that's sitting there on your seat. You can see the history of how this has happened over the years and how it's involved. 78 years ago being founded as the Oklahoma Aviation Commission, and 60 years ago as the Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission. And here we are today, setting the future. And as we talk about the future, I want to share a quote that from President Theodore Roosevelt, recognizing Statehood Day for Oklahoma in 1907. He said, "Oklahoma has become a state, standing on full equity with her elder sisters, and her future is assured by her great natural resources." And so just thinking of that history and where we stand upon that history, quite literally today, the history that has happened on these grounds here in Oklahoma City, we think about those great natural resources and the great openness of the state of Oklahoma. And for a lot of things, you could say the sky is the limit, but that's certainly not here in Oklahoma with this great day that we celebrate. Grayson, thanks for having me, and excited to be a small part of this.
Thank you, Representative. So obviously, one of the themes is we are the second largest industry. We want to be the number one industry. We can't do that without workforce. You've probably seen some statistics that we have 87 high schools across the state of Oklahoma that are now teaching 4-year dedicated aviation aerospace curriculum in the classroom, but that's not enough. I would encourage each one of you, as I do every time I speak, to go out and sell that good message of aviation aerospace. Yes, as my predecessor would say, air evangelism, go out and spread the good word, because we have to make aviation, aerospace, and aeronautics in the state not the state's best kept secret. One of the best kept secrets, though, is how well our country's aviation and aerospace system is run. Our Federal Aviation Administration is a great partner and a great advocate for aviation safety and making sure that we have the world's best air transportation system. So, representing our Southwest region, if you'd please bring to the stage Deputy Regional Administrator Doug Lane.
Thank you, Director Arties, and thank you, Representative Hilbert, for walking this way, because I didn't feel the need to take the steps. I always like being last on the agenda because all the great things that I planned on saying have been said by others, so all the pressure's off me. I'm going to be short and sweet, I promise. I do want to thank Senator Rosino and Representative Hilbert for your unwavering commitment to aviation in Oklahoma. That's truly commendable, and it's so important. And it is truly an honor for the FAA and for myself particularly to be invited to this very historic event. The FAA has a very long-lasting collaborative relationship with the state of Oklahoma, and we will continue, our commitment is to continue that into the foreseeable future. And the great thing about the department's, the new name change, it really truly does reflect the amazing changes that are taking place in aerospace and aviation in the state of Oklahoma. And one thing, and Director Arties talked about it, about the education part, and while aviation is a thriving and expanding industry in Oklahoma, you all kill it when it comes to education, aviation education. No one beats you all in that, and you are actually educating and giving the workforce a skilled workforce for the foreseeable future. And I can assure you what Grayson said as our regional administrator and myself, we take every opportunity when we're in other states, when we're talking with FAA leadership, to brag on y'all about how amazing you are. I cannot overstate this enough. It is so important of what you do, and you truly are trendsetters in that, and we just want more states to do that. So thank you for that. It's incredible. In fact, second place is half of what y'all do, is it? Pretty much. He doesn't want to brag about it, but I'm pretty excited about it for him. So we at the FAA, we're just very excited about partnering with you and sharing in your continued success, and we cannot wait to see what you all have for in the future. Thank you.
So as we come to the conclusion of our renaming ceremony today, again, I want to just say thank you for coming out and spending a little bit of your momentous day on Statehood Day 2023, renaming of the agency to the Oklahoma Department of Aerospace and Aeronautics. But while I have the privilege of being the head of this organization, I can't do, or we can't do, what we do without the great team behind us. So if all the staff at the Oklahoma Department of Aerospace and Aeronautics would please stand up, wave your hands, and let's give them a round of applause. I like to think that I have one of the best teams in state government here in the great state of Oklahoma. They work hard, they work tirelessly to do infrastructure, to do promotion and advocacy, to do education, to do aviation safety. They do it all, and we're glad to be a part of the team here in the state of Oklahoma. So, with that being said, without further ado, welcome to the Oklahoma Department of Aerospace and Aeronautics, and thank you. Let's go have some cake and punch.